Hey, how's it going everyone, and welcome to another episode of Weekly Code Quickies, your weekly updates for tech news, coding, tricks and tips, and more. As always, I'm your host, Norbert BM, and here are today's topics. A brand new JavaScript is out and it's called Remix. Will it be the framework of the future? Well, only time will tell. And behind this new framework are the creators of React Router, which is also the second topic for today. React Router version 6 is out, and all of you who are upgrading from version 5 to version 6 and realizing that nothing works at all, stay tuned because I'm going to tell you why. Okay, now before we get into this episode, as always, liking and sharing our content really helps us out a lot. And also, if you're new around here, please consider subscribing to the channel because we post content on a weekly basis. Also, click that notification bell in order to be notified when we post new content like this. And with this being said, let's jump into the episode. So what is Remix? Remix is a new free and open source JavaScript framework that promises to be faster by loading data in parallel on the server and sending a fully formed HTML document. Furthermore, Remix is a full stack web framework created by the team behind React Router. They promise to provide snappy page loads and instant transitions with seamless server and browser runtime by leveraging distributed systems and native browser features. Built on a web fetch API instead of Node, it can run anywhere. So they promise. So what is so exceptional about Remix? Well, Remix renders on the server. And because Remix only does server-side rendering or SSR, and it does not do static site generation SSG or incremental static regeneration ISR like Next.js or Gatsby do, it is not part of a Jamstack. Now, although ISR, incremental static regeneration, are extremely popular with Jamstack applications, which are used to build fast and easy to deploy web applications, they also have one disadvantage, which is that sites need to be rebuilt whenever there is new data added or the data is changed. And this is where the benefits of a stack like Remix comes into play. Now, what are these benefits of using Remix? Because it is server-side rendered, it benefits from fast handling of dynamic data, which in return will result in a much faster page load. But because it is heavily focused on server-side rendering, it will also need a server, which could be a drawback for many developers. Now, where could we use a framework like Remix? You're probably asking yourself by this time, what are the use cases of Remix? Because it is server-side focused, it is best suited for applications that work heavily with a lot of requests and response to and from the server. Having excellent dynamic data management, it could easily load multiple page applications, going back and forth from the server with new data being constantly requested. But it would be most certainly overkill if you would use it for just a blog, for example. So how can you get started with Remix? If you wish to check out Remix, then just head over to remix.run or follow the link in the show notes, which is down below. Here on their homepage, you will be greeted with an exceptional landing page where you can go through their documentation if you wish, or just click on Get Started, which will send you to the tutorial page where you can also check out their joke APIs. Okay, so this brings me to our second topic for today, which is React Router version 6. Now, for those of you who are coming from React Router versions 5 and moving on to 6, this will be extremely helpful. But for those of you who don't know anything about React Router, let me first of all answer the question, what is React Router? React Router is a collection of navigational components that compose declaratively with your application. Whether you want to have bookmark URLs for your web app or a comprehensible way of navigating in React Native, React Router works wherever it is rendering. Until now, the current version was version 5, which is point so and so far iterations. But with the new version of version 6 coming up, I thought it is time to create a short reminder on what React Router is and what the changes for version 6 are. Now, assuming that you already have a React application installed, using npx create React app, my app. Now, in order to get started with React Router, you will first need to add it as a dependency to your package.json using npm install React Router DOM, and this is very important at 6 because this will install the version 6 for you. You could also type in at latest, and this will install the latest version. Also, if you're using yarn, you would just type in yarn add react-router-dom at 6. This will install the latest stable version of the React Router. Now that you installed React Router as a dev dependency, you will need to import browser router as router, routes, route, and link from React Router DOM. Then wrap your app in a router element, which is actually the browser router. So what is new to React Router 6? There are actually just a couple of changes they made and you also need to know about in order to get up and running with React Router version 6. The first upgrade that they did is replace the switch element with routes. Don't know why they use switch for so long time. And honestly, this makes so much sense that they replaced switch with routes, because you wrap your route into routes instead of switch. Well, you would switch between routes, but routes are where a route lives. So yeah, it is a great upgrade. React Router 6 introduces the routes component that is kind of like a switch, but a lot more powerful. The main advantage of routes or switch are as following. All route and link inside a routes are relative now. This leads to leaner and more predictable code in route path and link to. Now, routes may be nested in place instead of being spread out in different components. In order to use v6, you will need to convert all of your switch elements into routes elements. The next big change is that route is now a self-closing component. Now, this leads to the element of, for example, home, where a route would be, to not be a different element, but be an element as a property and then be integrated into the route. This also leads to lesser code, and less code means more proficiency. Okay, everyone, so that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Click that notification bell in order to get notified whenever we post new videos. If you have any kind of questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And with this being said, catch you next time. Bye-bye.